And we would like to welcome you all to the kickoff for our upcoming season. We're excited. We're going to be excited. We've got a whole lot of training camp ahead of us with old faces and new faces and young people pushing for jobs. Last season was a disappointment without question, and it's on myself. And we've worked hard throughout the season to talk about a lot of different things that went right, a lot of things that didn't go right. But we feel we have a lot of good pieces in place. We feel we have a lot of people who can do a better job than what we did last season, and we really look forward to it. We got back from Traverse City late last night. I will update you on the injuries coming out of Traverse City. Zach Wierenski tweaked a groin. He will not miss any time, from what we understand. Paul Bittner, chest muscle pull. Jordan Maletta, a shoulder problem. Jacob Graves, he's the most serious of the injuries. He's a defenseman that injured a knee. He'll miss somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 weeks. Francis Beauvillier, had a head shot. He's here but shouldn't miss time. With our Cleveland group, Brad Thiessen, one of our 3 goaltenders there, has an ankle issue, and he'll miss the start of camp. Traverse City, we went 3-1. We lost our first game, and then played reasonably well and at times very well after that. It was a slow start and a very strong finish, so we enjoyed ourselves there. Had a chance to look at 8 clubs, including our own, on the young talent that's sprinkled throughout these teams. All our scouts were there. We had a chance to scout all the other teams, so it was a mission accomplished for us. Main camp, as Todd mentioned, is right around the corner. The one note as of right now is David Clarkson, one of our forwards, has failed his physical. Last season he missed 59 games, mostly with back problems. He's tried to train all summer, had real issues with it. Did fail the physical, so he will not be here at the start of camp. He will be trying to work his way back through rehab, but he's had a tough summer. I'm sure you're interested. His contract is insured. So if this becomes a long-term issue, which we don't know yet, that'll give us some opportunities to do different things along the way. With that being said, I'd like to introduce Bill again, and he can talk a little bit about Traverse City and the Cleveland situation.
Well, as JD mentioned, we came back last night. Just to add also, John Ramage is on the IR. He injured his shoulder in the first game of the playoffs last year, and he's expected back late October. We arrived home last night after what started out as a tough experience in Traverse City, losing the first game. But the kids really showed tremendous resilience, coming back and winning 3 games in a row in difficult circumstances with injuries to what you may characterize as our marquee players in Zach and Bittner. The kids really picked it up. Dubois was good. The young draft pick Abramov was full of energy and made an impact. Scott and Maletta, who were 2 OHL players who were free agent signings, came in and really contributed. And Dylan Hetherington came and he originally, we weren't going to play him. We felt that he was young enough to play, but geez, he won it in Cleveland and he earned the right to be with the big boys. But we needed help and we needed bodies after some injuries, and he came in and didn't miss a lick and contributed and served as a leader. It was a wonderful experience on the heels of what happened in Cleveland last year. We feel very comfortable and confident that the young kids are coming along quite well.
You have a new coach, Billy?
And I will introduce John Madden, the new head coach in Cleveland.
Well, first off, I just want to say thank you to JD, Billy Zito, and Yarmo for the opportunity to coach in Cleveland. Like Billy said, we had a fantastic weekend in Traverse City. He mentioned all the injuries, and I got a chance to get to know the boys quite well, their game, how they play. All I can say is the future looks bright for us.
All right, with that, any questions, again, please raise your hand. We'll get you a mic. Porty.
JD, can you elaborate on Clarkson's injury, what it is specifically, and why did he have a physical before the rest of the team?
He has the option to do that. David's uncomfortable with this whole thing. He's very disappointed, Aaron, in that he wants to be a hockey player. His body right now is letting him down. He came in and asked us if he could go take his physical, so he wasn't going to be asked a million questions. He took the physical, did not pass it. It's from what I understand, a lower back injury. I don't know the real specifics of it. I just know that every time he goes to work out and train, it becomes very, very bothersome. I know something about backs. I've been through that, and you just can't function. And when you play as an athlete at the NHL level, if your back is wonky and not well, it's a very difficult thing. Again, he missed 59 games last season, and he's disappointed, but he's going to give it a shot. He's going to keep working at it, but he wanted to make sure that it was out there that he's got this issue. He wants his teammates to know, and then at the same time, he wants to stay out of the way. Athletes, when they're injured, your teammates are always asking, when are you going to play, when are you going to play, and it starts to it's a burden on you. So he's been very forthright with us. We've talked about it with him, and he's going to continue to try, but he does have a bad back.
Is there a possibility that this is career ending for him?
Well, I think that's be unfair for me to say that. That's ahead of him. He's going to have to make that determination as he continues to try to rehab. And again, I don't mean this to be about myself, but that's exactly what I went through. Somewhere along the line, you have to make that determination whether you can keep trying to rehab, keep trying to come back and play. And if you can't, you can't. But if you feel you're having progress, you continue to give it a shot. He's still a fairly young guy. He loves the game and wants to be around his teammates. But it's troublesome right now.
Is he here in Columbus?
Yes. Any other
Next.
questions?
Craig here.
JD, with some of the guys like Gagne and Bergeron and Stahl coming, what are you hoping to get out of them? And is it a case that if they're equal with some of the young guys, who do you go with?
Well, we have to make those determinations as we move forward. I know that we're a lot more comfortable going into this camp with our younger players than we were a year ago because of what they succeeded with. When they were in Cleveland, that's a very good league. They had great success, and what I liked about it is the fact that the young players had success on a team that won, and they were a main part of it. They were playing. They played a lot. And to see that happen, it's a stepping stone for them. So we'll watch here. I know that you need players in camp to fill a roster out. There's players that are looking for opportunity to come in, and if it doesn't work here, it may work somewhere else. They want to come to an NHL camp to give themselves a chance to come out of camp in case something pops either here or somewhere else. We're looking at the depth. We're trying to ensure ourselves that if some of the young players don't do well, and maybe are going to go back to Cleveland for a while, that we have players in place. So we're going to have a very busy training camp trying to sort through this, see what players are doing, what players aren't doing, and go forward. The one thing I can say with our season last season, to be dead frank, is that we weren't successful. We were 6 games under 500. We weren't good enough on the specialty teams. We gave up too many goals. We felt that as a group we underachieved for whatever reason, but we did. So it's on everybody to come here and play the way that we think they can play, because if they can't, we've got other people.
Jared in the back right.
JD, just wanted to ask you about Sergei. He's had some good moments at the World Cup,
Yeah.
has performed well. Your view of him entering the new year and the depth at that position as well.
I've watched every Russian game, and when he made the, I don't know if y'all saw it, but he made a cross-ice save in one of the first exhibition games where he really extended himself. I mean, it was a spectacular save where he extended his legs to get his foot over to the goalpost, and we know he's had groin issues. He passed the test, and I was, along with the rest of us, we were very excited about that. We hired Nelson Ayet during the summer as a person that's really going to help Kevin and our strength and conditioning, and he's very good at his job. He went over and saw Sergei during the summer, and they were on the same page regarding his training. Sergei's weight's down a little bit. Last season he bulked up a little bit because of trying to protect the groins and trying to protect his body. He's without losing any strength. He's dropped that a little bit, and he's moving like a cat right now. I mean, the World Cup, that's something to watch, the way he's playing, and that makes me feel real happy. The other goaltenders, certainly we have McElhaney here, we have Korpisalo, we have Forsberg, and it's going to be a battle. We need somebody other than Bob to stop the puck and help us win. We also have to make sure, as we balance it, that the young goaltenders, if they're not playing here, they got to be playing. So we have to, as a group, really try to manage this properly and get the most out of that position that we can, and in turn keep the younger goaltenders developing.
Clay back left.
John, would there be, given what's happened here the last few years, is it better not that you're making promises or guarantees about playoffs, this, that, or the other, but more of a show, we'll show you.
Oh,
but
yeah.
We're not going to get up here today and,
No, I'm not going to get up here and say we're going to win the Stanley Cup, but I think we've made progress with the young people in particular. I know that last season we didn't meet our expectations. We had a number of people who didn't do well, including us, and it's on us to improve that. My feeling is that your goal is the playoffs, to get in. You get in, you can do things if you're healthy and you have a hot goaltender. A lot of good things can happen, but we've got to get in, and we have to start the next couple of days with our training camp in earnest. Actually, the players have started a long time before this with their off seasons, training, and I think we're embarrassed. There's no question about it. We had expectations. We didn't meet them. We really got into a rut early in the season for whatever reason, but this is a chance for all of us to get back on the horse and prove that this is a good group of players. And again, I will say the one thing that we got out of the season, even though at the CBJ level it was a disappointment, is when you get into a build and draft and development program, which we're trying to do, you draft people at a very young age. Dubois just played in Traverse City and got better as that tournament went on. I think he was the youngest player there. He turned 18 in June. So you expect a good player, but you have to go through the process to become a good player. And he did some good things there, but that's what we're into. Sonny Milano had a good tournament. Motry had a good tournament. Zach Werenski had a great playoff last year, so he's going to push for a job. Josh Anderson had a good playoff. He's a fleet skating big forward who can get a little scoring done. He's going to push some guys for a job. Oliver Bjorkstrand, who has a scoring talent, he's going to push for jobs. We need Wenberg to take another step. We need the veteran players who had off seasons to come back and have better seasons. And that starts with a whole team concept. We have to keep the puck out of the net. I expect us to be better. We should push for the playoffs. That's what we want to do. And we should have no shame in saying that. I'm not going to sit here and say right now we're promising a Stanley Cup because we haven't made the playoffs. So we have to prove to ourselves, roll up sleeves, get to work, and just go play good hockey.
Mike back middle right.
John, you've been building for 3 years.
Yeah.
How long does the program take?
That's a good question. From my experience, and I'm not talking about anybody else here, my experience in St. Louis, it took quite a bit of time, but we didn't have number 2 picks. We had the highest pick we had there was the 4th pick, and that was Alex Pietrangelo, who's turned into a very, very good player. And we actually sent him back to junior twice. But you look at the finished product, there's a hockey player, a really good hockey player. Now, here, we feel that there certainly were some parts in place before we got here with the previous group. There's no question about that. And then we've tried to add through the draft and some trades to get there. To put a real date on it, it's very hard. It's been 3 years, 3 full seasons. We're right in the middle of it, but I think we're over the hump in a lot of ways. Now we have to see if the kids can play at this level. Can they compete at this level? Are they strong enough physically? Are they strong enough mentally? From what I've seen, and I think it's very fair to say, when you go and win an American League championship the way they did it, going 15-2, from the goaltender to the blue line to the forwards, they did a great job, and they played. And they played 4 different series against teams that played differently. Grand Rapids was a fast team, entertaining. The team out in Ontario, which is the Kings Farm Club, man, that was one big physical group, and our guys swept them. So I just look at progress. That's what we want. That makes me excited. And I've often said, come and watch us grow. our kids are growing, and we need those young people to be major parts of our club and for our veteran players. And I feel that our veteran players are better than what we showed last year as a group. You know, not just scoring a goal, but keeping the puck out of the net, playing physical, playing with passion and competition. So going in, I like that combination. I can't sit here, and, Mike, and give you a date. It's just not fair. But I can say that I think we're over the hump because we're starting to see the fruits of some of that work play here and going to play here.
Tim, back center.
JD, with Torts coming in the middle of the season last year,
Yeah.
and now this is his first camp,
Yeah.
how much does that kind of set the tone for him throughout the season? You know, last year guys got adjusted to him. This is his time to set the
Well,
tone.
All I can say is I think the players know what to expect. In a few minutes, some of the players will be up here. You can ask them that, but I'll tell you what, they look like they're ready to go. And it's going to be a training camp where they're going to start with physicals and then go through some testing. And I think that they're in a position where they really feel it, that they want to get prepared and start the season strong and prove that last year it was a huge disappointment. We didn't handle anything very well as far as winning and losing goes. And I think they're ready to go. Now, we did have some positive things with numbers, Boone Jenner and Brandon Saad and Cam Atkinson and these people. I think they're ready. I think you'd have to ask them for that. But me and watching them interacting a little bit in the locker room, watching them skate a bit, they're just ready to go. They're ready to go.
With two more, we got Lori here and then Aaron. So, Lori.
John, you mentioned the addition of Nelson. I'm
Yeah.
wondering how different the offseason was for your players from an expectations standpoint and from the early feedback you're getting, how different an experience it was.
Again, the players can help you with that. Nelson came on later. I think that one thing about John Tortorella, he's black and white. I mean, and he made it very clear how he wanted to go into the season with his players, and I think they took him to his word. I look at the guys, and I see that they look like they're ready to go. With Nelson, this will be an ongoing process. He did fly over to Austria and met with Bob, and he came back and says, we're both on the same page. Bob gets it. And so it makes you feel comfortable knowing that. And then seeing how Bob's been playing, it adds up. I think that Nelson, along with Kevin, he can, with his experience, and he came out of the St. Louis organization. Before that, he was with the military. When we hired him in St. Louis, Al McInnes, the Hall of Fame defenseman, recommended him. And he gets it. He knows it. And I think that as an organization, you continue to evolve. You want to get better in every single area, whether it's scouting, whether it's what we're talking about with strength and conditioning, whether it's coaching, all that stuff. You have to go through this process. So we feel that I think everybody's gotten the message. And if you're a player and you come in and you're not ready to go, you're going to be left behind. We just can't. We're not going to be a group that's going to sit here and just go through the motions. If players aren't playing well or didn't earn their right to play for this club, they're not going to play. It's very simple. And we feel comfortable, too, that we've got, again, I'm going to bring up the young guys. They're going to push. Whether they're going to get there this season or out of camp, I don't know. We'll watch. But they're going to push, and that's a good thing.
Aaron.
And you mentioned Werenski in your opening statements, not missing any time. I assume you mean regular season time or training camp?
No, I think he'd be ready to go in camp. It was that last game last night. If that was for first place, a number of these players would have played. I think we were in a position, and we talked about it there. You know what? Why take a chance?
Yeah.
Just why? So we didn't play him. He's good to go, unless something pops up that I don't know about. But as far as I know, he's good to go. He's going to be an exciting player for us. And he's a young guy, too. I often forget about that. But he's very, very young. But that is somebody that, along with others, that's going to be very fun to watch as he grows. He'll have potholes he's going to step into. This is the best league in the world. But he has an opportunity, the way he carries himself, the way he plays the game, understands the game, to be a main part of our future going north.
USA eliminated from the World Cup. Is he here Friday?
We expect that John will be back Friday. Jarmo's been in touch with him a lot. By text a lot. We've had to make adjustments because of the various things regarding our training camp. He's on top of it. He's got his charts with him. So I know that he wants to do well, obviously, with Team USA. It doesn't work out, he'd be happy to be here and get us going.
Yeah. And will Jack Johnson and Brandon Dubinsky get a couple of days off when they get
Yeah,
back?
we're discussing that. That's something we have to look at and discuss. There's nothing mandatory-wise from the Players Association or the league itself saying players that play in the World Cup get 3 days off or 2 days off or whatever it is. But we'll have communication, talk to the players, and try and make the right decision.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
We'll ask Nick, Boone, and David to come up.
Takes me 5 minutes to get off the chair.
Unless the captain would like to make a speech, we'll just turn it over to questions. So,
Fire away.
Aaron.
Morning, gentlemen. Afternoon. I know how you feel about last season. I'm wondering what your expectations are, not asking for a prediction, but do you know what to expect out of this team, given that most of the same guys are back? What are your expectations for this season?
I think my expectation is just take it day one and really go from there. I think that's kind of where we maybe stumbled a little bit in reflecting on last season, is that we kind of got caught up in the hearsay and what could be, and kind of failed to take it one day at a time, which I think is the best approach. And I think that's what you're going to look at this training camp, and you're going to realize that we're going to do that, because I think it's just going to be a grind to get through one day at a time. And I think that's going to create the mentality that we're going to need in order to get to where we want to go. So it's not going to be making promises for postseason. It's going to be just every day we're going to come to work. I think that's the mentality that all three of us have here, plus the players in the locker room, and then bring that to every game that we're going to play. But it's going to start from tomorrow and our testing and going right through, and I think that's going to allow us to have that simplified attitude and mentality that we're going to need to carry through the season.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, I think. Looking forward to the year. I mean, as we were saying a little bit earlier, it was a disappointing year. So I think it's a good time for us to prove ourselves again. Finishing at the bottom of the league, you don't, get looked at that much, I guess, by the other teams and stuff. So I think that's a good challenge for us right now, is to prove ourselves again. And I think that, started in the offseason, and, as JD touched on, we're ready. I think we're a hungry group, and, just looking to prove ourselves and be that team again.
You want to go or you want me to? Okay. This is for any of you guys. Just, I know in the past, coming out of camps and just the slow starts, that's always something that hurts you in the long run. But with this being towards camp from the start, how excited are you guys to kind of have a fresh type of camp, a different speed? I know a different intensity.
Go ahead, Sav. You haven't spoke yet.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little different, but we're expecting to be every day's going to be intense. Everything's going to be hard, but I think it's going to prepare us for the start of the season, and I think everybody's excited that everybody's ready to go. I think everybody had a long summer, so I think we're excited to get it started, and we'll be good to go.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think you look at every team, and every team wants to have a good start, and I think for our club, it's that approach that we're going to have again, where we're going to hit the ground running, because we have to. Literally tomorrow we'll be running. So no, but I think it's important for us to refocus here, and I think a lot of guys have done that in the off season, and I think that's what allows you to have a good start. Is you put the work in, and it's not to say we haven't in the past, because I think we definitely have, but it's a different kind of approach that we're taking this year, where it's a lot more is going to be demanded of us, and I think we're excited for that challenge. I think no one wants to go through the emotions we had last year. Not one person, not the fans, not our players, not our coaches. So with that in the back of all of our minds, I think it's going to allow us to get off the ground running, and we're really looking forward to getting going tomorrow.
Aaron?
You guys fearing this 2-mile run tomorrow? I'm guessing you guys haven't. I know you're all in great hockey shape. I don't know how much you've run 2 miles and tried to do it under 12 minutes before. How big of a challenge is that for you guys?
Yeah, it's something different, I think, but we were aware of it a few months ago. So I think guys have been training and getting themselves into a little bit of the running shape, I guess, just to prepare yourself for it. And I know myself and these guys as well. We've been, just running as much as we can. As long as you're not running every day, but you just want to do it a couple times at least to feel it out, and you want to get a good score on it. So yeah. I have not.
12:01, Boone, don't
Yeah, close.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's just it's a mental thing more than anything it's going to be. So you're going to run it the best you can, and I think that's all they're going to ask for at this stage. I mean, I think every guy's goal is to get under 12 minutes, but it's going to be how hard you push, and I think you can leave it all on the track tomorrow knowing you gave your best, and I think that's all they're going to ask for right now.
Yeah, like Fliggy said, I think it's just a mental thing. I think we'll just have to push through it. It's going to be hard, but, it's just he asked us to do it, and we'll do it, and we'll do the best we can and go from there.
Have any of you guys watched any of the World Cup of hockey and kind of your comments on some of your teammates that are playing on some of those teams?
Yeah, I think, as JD said earlier, Bob's been looking really good. I mean, I remember watching him in the exhibition game against Canada when they played in Pittsburgh, and he looked really good there, I thought. And then I watched the game last night, and he looked even better. So, we're excited. We're talking about it in the room and saying, did you watch Bob last night, or if it's Murr, Jonesy, or anybody. So it's been fun watching them, and I think they're all doing great.
Yeah, I'm just glad no one's taken over the hug on Russia, so that was a good part. You know what? It's great. It's great to see those guys, especially the young guys like Murr and Seth and Sauter. And they get the experience that they're big parts of this team. I mean, they're guys that we're going to count on, and to see them kind of get that kind of exposure and understanding of what it is to play an elite level, that's going to bode really well for our club. And then you see Bob doing his thing, and Brandon and Jack obviously facing a little adversity, obviously, but big parts of that club as well. I mean, it's only going to help our club having those guys come back and be ready to go and kind of be able to teach some things too that they've learned from rubbing elbows with some of the best players in the league. And I'm looking forward to that and having them back and just take on a bigger leadership role and help our club.
Right, front left.
Nick, after a season like last year where, everybody said the talent was there, but the performance wasn't, how did that affect team chemistry? And, what do you do to, a brand new year, what do you do to try to make that better?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, I mean, I did a lot of self-reflecting. I think that was one of the things, you look at our club and, the reason why I felt like I struggled a bit was that I got caught up in that. I think I didn't play to my characteristics, my attributes, and I think you could probably say that about, 95% of our team. I think we got caught in trying to play something that we weren't, and or guys got caught in that. And I'm not saying every player, but I think that's important. You got to play to your identity, and our identity is going to be a fast, hardworking, tenacious group. And when we do that, then our skill comes out, and that's probably my identity to a T. And when I'm playing like that, my skill and my attributes come out. So I need to be the guy at the forefront leading that. And so I'm looking forward to that challenge and that opportunity this year, and I think the rest will follow suit. So it's about every guy understanding what they bring, and doing it to the best of your abilities. And, I think last year was a huge reflecting point for all of us to come in this year and know that's what it's going to take, because, like I said, nobody wants to go through what we went through last year, and every guy will make sure that's not the case.
Any of the other guys have thoughts on that team chemistry and how it...
I just think, like you said, you reflect on last year or whatnot, but if you don't learn from it or fix something, you're going to do it again. So at the same time, you got to reflect, but move forward and learn from it and be better for it. So I think that's what position we're in right now, and the position that we, have the opportunity to do is fix that and learn from it and be better for it.
Mark?
for all you guys. Just can you comment on how close you followed Cleveland last year, and then how does that motivate you guys to be ready for this camp, knowing that some of those young guys could be coming up and maybe ready to take some jobs?
Yeah, I think it was fun to watch. Obviously, we had a few friends down there. I was good friend with Chap, and I think I talked to him quite a bit when they were in their run, and I think they were having fun and they were playing hard, and everybody was contributing. And I think they'll push for jobs this year, and it could be on D, forward, anybody. I think they wanna play up here, and when you win, they bring those guys up because they know how to win. And I think it's going to be a fun training camp. It's going to push us to do more. Guys that were here last year, and I think it's good. And you know, if they push for jobs, we'll have to play better, and it'll make our team better.
You hit it right on the head. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly. I mean, I was thrilled. I mean, we were texting guys. I know Booner's pretty close with a lot of them. They're all the same age, and I was texting quite a bit of the guys that had come up and played for us just to say congrats, and as they were going through their series. And you know, it was awesome. It was awesome to watch. It was great for our organization to see that kind of success early on, especially with just going into Lake Erie and being at the first year. So you know, it's going to bode well for not only those players, but everyone coming in to draw players to that organization, and to realize that they're breeding good hockey players. And you know, it's great for us knowing that those kind of players are pushing for jobs, because, like Savvy said, I mean, anytime you can have healthy competition in a camp, it's only going to make the players here better, and hopefully those kids can find ways to get in here and help us.
Anyone else? All right. Oh, wait. Lori here, front left.
I guess if you guys had to bottom line it, you know, what is the reason that you think this year is going to be different than last year?
That's a great question.
You know, I think it just comes down to, you know, the feelings are just, I mean, being at the bottom of the league, it's not fun. I mean, you go home and you watch playoffs, and, you know, that actually, it stings quite a bit. I mean, you know, you play the whole regular season after I got a little taste of the playoffs. You realize what the whole, you know, training camp, regular season, everything, the whole process is for that. And, you know, when you miss it, you look back and you're looking to see what you did wrong, or what you can change to be back at that. And I think that's what it's all about. And, you know, I think going through last year, it's just, I didn't even want to, you know, think about it at this point. Training camp starts tomorrow for this year, and I think we're just, over the summer, we've done enough of that. We're ready to go, and you know, it's a new group. We got new faces. We got new, you know, everything. So I think we're ready.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's the preparation that's gone into this summer and into this season. I mean, you reflect, obviously, like we talk about. I think this has been probably mentioned too much in this press conference. Is we're a team that understands the position we put ourselves in last year, and there's a lot of disappointment from individuals, from our team, and the only way to go about changing that is to learn from what went on last year and make sure you bring into this season something different, something fresh, and that's what you're going to see out of training camp. I mean, no one's experienced training camp before here, so except for Brandon. I mean, so there's going to be guys who are at first, and which is a whole new mentality now. So it's great to kind of have that fresh start, and everyone will kind of come together because of it, and we're looking forward to that. It's going to be, you know, hit the ground running and get going, and make sure that, like he said, I mean, if you're not playing up to your caliber, then you're going to be left behind. So I think that in itself is motivation enough for all the players returning and for all the players coming in. So bottom line is this is going to be a very competitive camp, and you know, we're excited that it is going to be that way, because I think it says the future is bright for our club. And I think every player up here right now wants the future to be right now, though. We're not waiting to win. We want to win. I mean, we don't have very many years left. I'm 29 years old going to be, so my goal is to win now. And so I'm going to make sure that whoever's coming into this camp is ready to go, and that's my job as the captain and also as one of the players in this club.
Yeah, I think like they said, you know, last year wasn't fun to be part of. I think it's not fun being down in the standing and everything, and I think everybody prepared to make the playoff this year. Everybody wants to be a top team and compete, so I think everybody, like I said, had a good summer, and we're ready to get it going and have a good season.
Nick, I think you've forged a friendship with David Clarkson in a short amount of time here with the team. Can you just speak to what he went through this summer and how much you feel for him being in this situation, unable to play?
Yeah, I think it's tough. You know, you come in, you're excited about it, probably a fresh start for him, coming in from Toronto where things just didn't work out, and you know, to kind of have your body fail on you, like he's mentioned, it's tough. I mean, he's a young guy. He wants to play. He's competitive. I mean, you look at his track record. He's a hard-nosed player that's played the game the honest way, and so it's tough when you see a guy that could probably, you know, help your club in the sense of what he brings, the attributes that he brings, and you know, so all the guys get along with him. It's amazing, even though he hasn't been around much, how he's kind of been able to jump into the team, and guys really respect him, and you know, he's shown his face at times and chatted with guys at times, and so you feel for him because he's a good person, cares a lot about this team, and obviously, you know, he's experienced winning and he's gone to the Stanley Cup Finals, so we feel for him. We hope he can get that recovery going, and we'd love to get him back. I mean, he's a guy that we can rely on to play a certain style for us, and definitely would help the team.